Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning into another episode here at the Portcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. Do you mind introducing yourself and your organization?
It's your boy, Jonathan Lett, man, a.k.a. DJ JB1 from Hip Hop 1001.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to be with us today.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Here on the platform, what we try to do is talk to organizations and people about all the positive things that's going on in the city and the valuable resources that they have going on in the city to improve the quality of life of the people of Bridgeport. So let's talk about your Hip Hop 1001.
Well, Hip Hop 1001 is a program designed to teach the youth hip hop culture and what we call the 5 elements, which is MCing or rapping, DJing, dancing, which of course it was break dancing, now it's hip hop dancing, graffiti arts, which is now visual arts, like what you guys hear. We try to show them how to work the camera and stuff, and music production. We're located at Hall Neighbor House. We have started the program 3 years ago, July 20th, 2019.
Now, how did you get into hip hop?
Well, I was raised into hip hop. I say ever since I was born 76, so by the time I say the great year of 1988, I said that's all I wanted to do. You know, I listened to hip hop. My favorite artist, rest in peace, is Michael Jackson. So before I knew anything about hip hop, I was dancing, moonwalking and everything to Michael. And around 80, I'm from Stanford, so we moved from Stanford to Bridgeport around, I want to say 85, and it was like, literally got off the train and you seen the boom boxes and you seen whatever you saw on the TV. I was like, wow. And that's all I wanted to do. So once 1988 came, I was around 12 years old. I said, that's it. All I want to do is hip hop music. I don't care what I do. Before, I don't tell a lot of people this, but I was a dancer, you know what I'm saying? So I love dancing, and I got into the DJing, and I've been DJing since it's about 1994. I bought records, but I started doing mixtapes, tape to tape, because of course, you know, we poor, so I didn't really have much. So I would get tapes, and for Christmas, I got a double tape deck. Rest in peace, Grandma, she bought me a tape deck, and I would put one tape in, play, record, pause, and I would do each songs. So by the time 1992, my freshman year, I was selling mixtapes for $5. But it wasn't like record to tape at that time, it was just tape to tape. And then in 94 is when I bought the turntables, and I've been doing it ever since.
Do you remember the first song or moment that made you want to be part of this hip hop culture?
But KRS-One set it off for me. It was like KRS-One, all right, so first song I say, Between the South Bronx and the Bridge is Over. I was just like, oh my goodness, what is this? You know, and I just didn't look back. So when 87 came and Rakim dropped Paid in Full, it was like, whoa, God of Law. And I'm thinking like, yo, what is this? And I said, you know what? And by the time 1988, it was just like, that was Slick Rick dropped his album, Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie. It was just like back-to-back videos. I would come home and they would play the rap show, rest in peace to DJ Smash and, you know, Jerry Jer and all of them, and EL Jam. They would play like the local TV shows that would play the videos of the hip, because, you know, Yo MTV Raps, they would play like 3 videos, the whole show would be talking, and they would only show certain artists. But the rap show, I'll never forget, it was Channel 34, and the rap show had all the underground. So I was like, yo, what is this? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't want to be a doctor, I didn't want to be a lawyer, I didn't want to be a policeman. I wanted hip hop. But everybody around me, my mother, my father, my grandma, everybody said, you know what? You need to do this, this, and that. And they always told me, do something else besides hip hop. And I said no. And this is where I'm at now.
All right, cool. So some people may think, hey, let me go buy 2 turntables, a mixer, an amp, some speakers, and a mic, and they're the next DJ Khaled. What was your journey like?
I didn't have a lot. And I said, how am I gonna do this? So I started with the tapes. And after a while, I got a job. And all type of little jobs. I started buying music. And I started buying. My first one was, rest in peace, Sean Wheeler. He sold me 2 turntables, a little amp like this, beat up amp, house speakers for like $80. Turntables weren't that great. And I was March 1994, and I haven't looked back.
Now, becoming a DJ, did you have a mentor, someone to show you the ins and outs of how to DJ?
No, funny story is, I bought everything myself. And back then, there were no DJs that helped me out. I reached out to a few, I ain't gonna say no names, they turned me down. So that March, I started, I had a few records. Rest in peace to Mike at Riff Raff. I say a lot of rest in peace, I need to stop that. But Riff Raff Records, of course, downtown, I started buying records. I didn't have no help, man. I grinded from like nothing. Having the worst equipment, people laughing at me, stuff turning off, stuff breaking. It was terrible, but you know what? I'm built for it tough, man. I ain't stopped, I ain't give up. I kept going, and March of 1994 is when I bought them. So by the time July came around, there was this woman called Diane Rogers I used to work with, and she got me to do this Rest in Peace tournament. And my first gig, like, I knew people that was DJing for years in the basement, but they never did like big gigs. So the Rest in Peace tournament, I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's starting at Terrace, because that's where I started, North End, starting at Terrace, DJing, and it was like, what am I gonna do now? And I had very little equipment. I had like nothing, man. And it almost didn't happen, long story, where I didn't have a ride. It was like everything that could have went wrong. And my boy Waitoff in the North End, everybody in North End know Waitoff. He was a coach. He came to I wanted to cry. I was in my house like, dag, man, Diane got me to do this party. I ain't got no ride. I didn't want to call nobody. Knock on the door. Waitoff like, man, what you doing? Hurry up, man. What's going on with you? I said, I ain't got no ride. Man, put that stuff in the car. And we put it in the car, and I went to the Terrace. I did the Rest in Peace tournament, and I did that tournament for 13 straight years. I was spending between $50 to $300 a week on records just to have the music, and probably get paid like $100 for the gig. So I was paying for, I spent way more money just to do the gig, but it was the experience. And it was making me the man that I am to this day, and I never gave up. No matter how crappy my music on my equipment was, no matter how bad it was, I just kept going. And about like 2 years later, I'll never forget, we was doing the tournament at the Terrace, and I ain't gonna say, rest in peace, Biz Markie was in the Terrace. And me and my boys, we slid off for whatever reason. And I come back, because I let my one boy, Gooba G, let him rock the turntables. And I come back, and it was like a gift, like a sign from God. One of my favorite artists, Biz Markie, is rocking on my set. Now, I had the worst turntables you could have, headphones with the thing hanging, and Biz is up there DJing on the little mixer and everything. And I was like, yo, is that Biz Markie on my set? You know what I mean? And he was like, what's up, man? I was like, he's like, this yours? I said, yeah, man. I said, my bad, it looked crazy. He said, don't apologize. He said, man, this is what you have. Make the best out of it and do the best you can. And I swear to God, that's one of the people that kept me going, Biz, man.
So what was it that made you want to progress from DJing to creating your own resource to teach the kids in the community to express themselves in a artistic way?
Well, I've had a long travel. And like I said, I started the program in 2019, and so that was like 25 years or so after I already started DJing. And I started hip hop 2019 July. By the time December came, I locked down a contract with the city of Bridgeport. COVID came, shut everything down. I started back because they say, listen, we're gonna go virtual. So I did a summer camp teaching the kids over cameras like this, our phone, not even like this, my bad, these are great cameras. We had our phones, put our phones there, my boy Weezy dancing in front of the phone, making beats in front of the phones because they had to spend that money. And we basically did virtual summer camp, and we did it through the summer, and we finished with a summer camp, and it was all virtual. So it's like, in a matter of a year, I done locked down contracts. I was like, wow. I did 9 elementary schools and 2 high schools within a year of starting that program. So I said, you know what? God has a plan, and this is it. And to this day, we'll get to the numbers later, but Hip Hop 1001 is taking off. And I'll explain the 1001 in the hip hop.
So you chose the hip hop route to mentor and educate kids using the hip hop platform. Was this intentionally done because this is something that kids gravitate to?
Yes. I have 5 children myself and a grandson. Shout out to my little boy. And I worked with Alliance for 15 years. And I wasn't an educator, I was a family advocate. So I watched the development of children for 15 years. So I see the way children react to hip hop. All white, black, yellow, red. They would know a song and a lyric before they even knew their book that a teacher told them to sit home for them to read.
Hip Hop 1001.
Yes.
Your core mission is to educate, mentor, teaching based on the 5 elements of hip hop.
Yes.
So let's get more into Hip Hop 1001.
I saw the teaching of Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, and I said, you know what? What Bam did was he put all the gangs together. I mean, people's killing each other. He put all the gangs together, and basically through teachings of the Zulu Nation and teaching of black power and what we was going through in the streets, it was like, okay, we can make money out of this. So let's do this, let's come together. We had this crew called Unit Underdog Family, and it was through Zulu Nation. So we would meet at the alley downtown. We would meet down there, and we basically teach each other, build with each other. And we had one thing we had in common was hip hop. So we came together and we would do our thing. So that's the 1001 in hip hop. 1001 Main Street is the address where we used to be at. So we used to be down there building with each other, making beats. And of course, like I said, I would get all the money I worked, my taxes, everything, and buy equipment. First one to have the MPC 2000. I bought this equipment. And I said, yo, we all here vibing. And it was just like a brotherhood. It was like everybody was together. So we put all those pieces together. I said, you know what? This is what it's gonna do. This is what it is. So the brotherhood that we had there, I would say, okay, now to this day, the kids, the violence that I seen around, I said, listen, let me get these kids in here and teach them this. And we're gonna build. And that's the whole thing behind Hip Hop 1001.
So the core values of hip hop are respect, love, commitment, discipline, and culture. To me, it seems like these elements are from the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Seeing how in the past few years, everything coming out of hip hop seems to be negative. How are you mentoring and teaching these principles when the hip hop is showing something totally different?
So with these values that we have at Hip Hop 1001, it's teaching you that you can do hip hop without that's an op. We're not talking about destroying another brother. So that's a little bit of power that I have. And I'm gonna use that power to push positiveness. And not just positive, like you can speak your mind, but we're not killing each other. And I feel very passionate about it because they're losing their lives.
Okay, so this segment here, we're gonna test your DJ IQ with some rapid questions.
Okay.
Which band released the hit single The Message in 1982?
Melly Mel and Furious 5.
Who alongside Rick Rubin founded Def Jam Records in 1984?
One of my idols, Russell Simmons.
Me, Myself, and I, the song, was released by who in 1989?
De La Soul. My grandmother bought me that record before I had the turntables.
Originally known as the Disco 3, was later known as what group?
The Fat Boys.
Digital or vinyl?
Sound, vinyl. I should say like access, easiness, however, I forget the word. Accessibility is virtual computer, yeah.
Best rap group to come out of Bridgeport and first to put the city on the map?
Skinny Boys.
Besides yourself, the top 3 DJs from Bridgeport.
White Flash, DJ Smash. Wow, that's a good one. Besides myself, I have to give it to one of my mentees, man, DJ Mean. It's my guy. Site is www.hiphop1001.org. We are located at Hall Neighborhood House, 52 George Pipkins Way. We have classes Saturday, 1 to about 5. And then we also work with Harry Bell at Color of Positive Thought. He reached out to us, and I was in the public schools, but we're not there no more, but it's okay.
So I see you doing a lot of events throughout the community. Do you have anything up and coming within the next few weeks or so that you want to talk about?
December 17th, we have our our holiday show at Hall Neighborhood House, December 17th. I'm not sure when the doors will open, but you could contact me if you want to help or anything. I left the information, and that's going to be our next holiday show, because I believe that hip-hop was started from doing talent shows. So when I started the program, the main thing I did was, after the 12 weeks, we got to showcase what the children learn. So when they come there, we all meet, of course, then we break out into sessions. I have my partner, Wayne. It's my man right there. He was Alicia Keys' hype man. He's from the Bronx. So he teaches them dance. Christ Bush, my boy Bush, he helps teach music production, because I can't do it myself. So we're all a team, so it's like Voltron. I add my, DJ P. Johns. He's also a DJ. He helps out with the DJ piece, so I'm not the only one doing everything, because when we started, man, I had up to sometimes 30 to 50 kids in there, so I'm like, whoa, I'm all over. So luckily, Bob Zarenda, my man, he was a great dude, Bob. They come in there, we break in the rooms. We have the studio. We have a full studio, man, with 2 recording booths. We have music production gear, so they learn production on the MPC-1. We have native instruments, the machines. They have two booths that they could go in and record. We have Pro Tools there, so they learn Pro Tools. We have Bob let us rock the gym, so we have access to the gym. They learn dancing in there, and at the other time, the ones that don't want to do none of that, they walk around with a camera. So then at the end, we take that and they edit that. You see what I'm saying? So we add all them elements, and I teach them, there's a session where we go 5 weeks, we showcase each element. So 1 week it might just be, okay, this is a week of DJs, and I'll come in there, I'll have the DJ set up, and I say, okay, this is what the DJ, how they started hip hop, and yada yada yada, the whole how it started in the Bronx. You had the DJ, the rapper. I teach them that, teach them the culture part, and it's just they come in there and chill out. So I tell them, because children right now with these phones, and their attention span is so short. So I tell them, give me an hour and a half. Then they could do whatever they want. But some kids, I'm supposed to start at 11, but I have children in there as far as 7 and 8 years old. So I just tell the parents, if they're that young, to me, hey, you got to stay with them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the little ones, they just run through the gym. But I'd rather them there on a Saturday.
Once again, I'd like to thank you for taking time out to talk with us here on the platform. Is there any parting words that you would like to say to everyone out there?
Thank you to everyone. Thank you for having me here. And by the way, it's him and his son. And love you, sons. All my sons, my grandson. And it's a great thing to see 2 brothers together. I love that. So I told him that since I walked in. But thank you to everybody that supported the movement. Thank you for everybody that's came by hip hop. Thank you to everyone that hired me as a DJ. Thank you. Because what you did by hiring me as a DJ, if you paid me $20, if you paid me $2,000, you've helped create a culture, something that the children will learn. Thank you. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for everyone that supported me, and just thank you, man. God bless.
All right, there you guys have it. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode here at the Portcast. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. God bless.